Theirs was one of the greatest partnerships. Understated, naturally, but more than once the Queen acknowledged she could not have done it without him. In recent years, the Duke of Edinburgh had retired from official duties, so his arrival at Harry and Meghan's wedding was a rare public appearance. Prince Philippos of Greece was born into a royal family on the run from revolution. He was 7 years old when he was sent away to be schooled in Great Britain, and he never again lived with his parents. Philippos became Philip. At Naval College, as storm clouds grew on the eve of war, there was a visit by the King. Philip was tasked with escorting a young princess who took a rather big shine to him. In the war, Philip fought with distinction as a young officer in the Royal Navy's Mediterranean Fleet. All the time he was corresponding with Elizabeth, and in 1947 they became engaged. The King and his courtiers weren't keen, but Princess Elizabeth had decided. The royal wedding enchanted the nation and the world. They tend to do that. As their family grew, these were the happiest of years. The death of the King changed everything. Princess Elizabeth became Queen at the age of 25. The Duke of Edinburgh pledged himself to a lifetime of supporting his wife, and behind the smiles, he knew that his career in the Navy was finished.
I think it did rankle with him. He would have been a very successful man in the Navy. He'd have gone right to the top, according to people who knew him at the time. Instead, he had to find a range of roles that would be stimulating and interesting to him, and he did.
Wild plants of our world are in just as great danger as the wild animals.
He championed causes way ahead of their time, like conservation. And his lasting legacy is the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, which to date has inspired and rewarded more than 6 million young people. The Duke loved sport, including sailing. When the Queen banned him from playing polo, he took up another dangerous pastime, carriage driving, a sport he helped to revive. His wide-ranging passions were witnessed by Martin Palmer, who worked with the Duke for more than 30 years at the Alliance of Religions and Conservation.
I can honestly say he was the best of mates. He was funny, he was supportive, he was generous, and if it wasn't a bad day, he was willing to go places and do things I don't think many other people would do. No, I shall miss him hugely.
The image of the stiff upper-lipped Iron Duke was unfair. He didn't give evidence at the inquest into the death of Princess Diana, but released touching correspondence between them. It made clear they were close, and that Philip strove to save the marriage of Charles and Diana. As with many grandparents, the Duke's relationship with William and Harry was more tender. He and the Queen protected them in the days after their mother's death, and he persuaded William to be part of the cortege with the words, "If I walk, will you walk with me?" Naturally, in recent years, his health was a cause for concern. The biggest scare was over the Christmas of 2011.
You're doing better.
The 90-year-old Duke suffered a blocked artery. A coronary stent was fitted, and by New Year's Day, he was walking to Sandringham Church, much to the relief of well-wishers. In the summer of 2012, bladder infections would cause 2 trips to hospital. The Diamond Jubilee got off to a very cold and wet start, and after this voyage at the Thames pageant, the Duke had a few days of treatment. It meant he had to watch the rest of the Jubilee from his hospital bed. And then in 2013, right after this garden party, there were 11 nights in hospital which were never really explained. The palace would only say it was for exploratory abdominal surgery, but we do know one of his doctors was a liver and pancreas specialist. He was only discharged from his most recent visit last month. He'd spent 4 weeks in hospitals, being treated for an infection and an existing heart condition. He had only retired from public duties 2 years earlier. Never one to make a fuss, he kept putting it off because he didn't want to take any attention away from the Queen's various jubilees and anniversaries. On the day of the announcement, a guest at a reception at St James's Palace said he was sorry to hear he was standing down.
I'm sorry to hear you standing down. I can't stand up much.
I can't stand up much longer, was the reply. The Duke's final public engagement before retirement was in August 2017, in the pouring rain at Buckingham Palace. The band of the Royal Marines played For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, the Duke waved, and the crowd cheered. And that was that. Prince Philip said he tried to support the Queen without getting in the way. He was, of course, old school, and betrayed no emotion when his wife paid this public tribute during the Diamond Jubilee.
Prince Philip is, I believe, well known for declining compliments of any kind. But throughout, he has been a constant strength and guide.